because you know, as a measure of success financially on any business unit, it's net income. You know, in our case, net farm income. And we've seen the 2000 census, the net farm income, you know, is down $43 billion from the previous year. That's 2009 versus 2008. So that's a significant decrease, and it's $10 billion less than the last 10 years on average. And so we do have to consider the economic viability. Gary, as we go forward, challenges that you see from your perspective.
Well, there's no question that fossil fuels and the emissions that are called greenhouse gases are a huge problem. EPA did a study in 2009, and they said, where is most of the fossil fuel used? And in which sectors are the most greenhouse gas emissions created? Number one on that list was electricity generation. Number two on that list was transportation. Number three on that list was manufacturing. Number four on that list, using 8% of the fossil fuels, is agriculture. 8%. It's very, very difficult for those of us in agriculture, and I happen to own a wheat farm, I own a part of a natural beef company, I own a laboratory testing company that serves the food industry. Why do we, out of our 8%, have to make the price of food increase in order to save fossil fuel? No. Let's don't have a meatless Monday. Let's have a no electricity Tuesday. Let's have a nobody can drive a car Thursday. Why do we focus on 8% of fossil fuels? I want to feed people. And to tell them that we're going to solve their problems by making the cost of food higher, 31 states increased the level of poverty in this last economic downturn. Increasing the price of food is not the route at which to provide food security to us and the world.
Well, there's a couple issues. I want to talk about economic sustainability. And farmers all understand that. It's not as if this system is working so well for farmers. I mean, if you look at what's happening in net farm income, if you look at what dairy farmers are dealing with, the fact that hog farmers today are losing $46 for every hog they're growing. This regime, corn and bean farmers this year are projected to lose $8 per acre of what they're planting. This regime, based on high efficiency, expensive inputs, and overproduction, sometimes done in the name of feeding the world, does not really serve farmers very well. We're producing ourselves into a hole. And that, yes, there is a larger population coming. But according to the UN last year, we grew enough food in the world to feed, as things stand now, to feed 11 billion people if we used it as food. We didn't. We put a lot of it in our cars, in our gas tanks. And we fed a lot of it to animals, obviously. A huge amount of it to animals. So we have to look at this question of overproduction. It's almost like built into the DNA of how we do it in America. All our foreign policies are about, faster, quicker, cheaper. And has that really served us? Has it served us as eaters, and has it served us as growers? And that, the people who have managed to get out of that commodity trap, and the Goodmans are prime examples, figured out another product, something that, was at the time you started really a highly specialized niche, and found new markets, built new markets. The problem is over time it turns into another commodity.
Exactly.
And it's hard to keep innovating that way. But I think that's a question we have to look at. Also, cheap food. We all like cheap food. But, if you look at what cheap food has done to us, it's not all good. It's true we spend less than any people who have ever lived on this planet on food as a percentage of income. It's under 10%. I don't know what other industry boasts about the fact that their products are so cheap. You know, and cheap food has given us all sorts of healthcare problems. I mean, 3/4 of the money we spend on healthcare in this country goes to treat preventable chronic diseases. And not all of those are food related, but most of them are. So, you know, we can pay the farmer or we can pay the doctor. And we're moving toward an era of paying the doctor, as you know. And wouldn't it be better to pay the farmer?
And that's a good segue into one of our audience's questions. What areas of the food system should become more efficient, and how would you achieve this, and what role does government then play on the day-to-day aspect for the American farmer? And I want to start with Gary and come back this direction. What role does government play?
Well, one of the things that they do not do is they do not subsidize grain production in order for us to feed it to animals in confined animal feeding operations. One of the claims that's made is we're able to feed corn because the government subsidizes it. I asked the economist who worked for Cattle Facts last week to determine for me what the subsidy really has been. In the 1990s, they subsidized the price of corn 1% to 18%. In the 2000s, 3% to 26%. Secondly, we only feed 20% of the corn that we raise to livestock. And so it is not, in fact, the government subsidizing the production of cheap food. Yes, we'd like to have cheap food. We'd also like to have processed food that's quick to eat. My wife and I had 6 children. She had grown up on a wheat ranch. She'd driven a truck and driven a combine. You know, her mother spent all day long cooking. So did mine. We didn't have time for her to do that and be a soccer mom to those 6 kids. So we're mighty grateful that there were people who were food technologists who developed foods for us from corn primarily, in addition to other products, to make it easier for us to have those kinds of lives that you have when you're time constrained, but you're really in a hurry. So we hope that the government does exactly what they have done. I have never farmed, I have never ranched, and I'm awfully proud that someone raised food for me, and that someone made sure that that food was in a form in which we could eat it on the busiest of days. That's food technologists. We're proud that the government and industry have worked together to make our food supply so safe and affordable. So what does the government do? They help us in achieving food security, sustainability of our food supply by helping us to assure that we have the cheapest possible food in whatever form we wish to eat it, that's safe and wholesome and high quality.
Myra, in your position as a grower, what role do you see? Where some efficiencies can be made, and what role does government play for you?
Well, I'm just thinking about some of the current issues we've had. I've been speaking to a lot of our growers recently, and most of our growers were conventional growers that have transitioned ground to organic and become organic growers growing for us. And they've been saying that they're just so excited now that they never really believed organic farming would work, but now they're seeing the yields and quality really equaling conventional, and that is so exciting for them. But, our biggest problems is we pretty much lost about 80% of our spinach crop this summer. We lost about $20 million retail worth of spinach because of mildew. And what we don't really get in organic is enough organic farming research dollars, because for us, we eat these mildew-resistant varieties. We aren't able to spray all these chemical fungicides and have a spinach crop when we have this. So what we have to do in the future now is we've got to move. We're going to be in Oregon, and we're going to be in Nevada next summer, and we're going to be trucking this product using more fossil fuel to our plant because we're not able to grow in the Salinas Valley because we don't have enough of this mildew-resistant seed. So I think there being research that's more specific to the needs of organic growers that are able to, so they are are able to farm without the